I don't know exactly or at all what to do to make what I'd like to speak about clear. About all I can do is start. Actually, start with another person's words. I don't know who it was. I think it was Einstein, or I'm not certain who said it. I think it's Einstein, though. The the thought that caused the problem cannot possibly solve it. Something like that. Something close. I say that which manifested the problem cannot solve it. Something new is needed. That starts in our smallest life experiences. You might have noticed it in your own dating that you go from girlfriend to girlfriend to girlfriend, or boyfriend to boyfriend to boyfriend, whichever the case may be. And they all end in failure until perhaps you just put up with or make do. And perhaps the thing you don't take into consideration is you are the constant in the failures or in all of your relationships. So it has to be the manner in which you think, the manner in which you address your relationships, the manner in which you are, the way you show up, that has to be the problem. If I may, I'd like to insert that you're the responsibility. It's your responsibility. The most difficult thing about what I speak of is the listener that converts it into blame and name calling and those kinds of things, because people listen through their ego. They don't like to be told that they were wrong or it's their mistake. So this thing called that which caused the problem cannot possibly solve it works in every domain in our life. And as the domain gets bigger, it still works. And in this case, I'm speaking of our entire way of being. The consciousness that brought forth where we are now cannot possibly solve. Somebody come in? Therese, I think that's you. Hello. I don't have my glasses on. Can make it bigger maybe. Yeah, Therese. Hello. So this is the difficulty that we face here. What I'm suggesting is it's the entire way of being, our collective way of being, that is responsible for where we are now. I'm not a very good video maker here. So if each of us would simply say with ourself that we take 100% responsibility for our lives, then all blame and all excuses, justifications, explanations would disappear. And we would realize then that we are the reason that our world is failing. But here's another problem. You see, I used that word, our world is failing, and there'll be people who's, oh my goodness, oh no, look, we have this, we have that. And preachers are going to say, oh, God's going to come and say, oh, there's going to be all sorts of things. So it's even a difficult thing for most people, I guess, to see that where we are today is in a failed experiment. Another old statement that I read a long time ago that still holds validity is perhaps we will end the experiment called life on planet Earth because we don't know when to admit our failure. Instead, we make excuses, we have explanations and justifications. If all else fails, we make it reasonable. And given that we use knowledge and thought and belief, we can make anything reasonable. We can have a president who throws 3,000 children into cages to teach their parents a lesson. And guess what? You can make it reasonable. We can go to war. We can have... Anyway, I'm getting away from the conversation I'd like to have. If you would accept within your own mind, within yourself, that the consciousness that you are, which is our collective consciousness, cannot possibly solve the problems that it invented. What is needed is a new way of being. But now this is a whole different dimension of conversation, if you will, because now we're talking about the entire collective consciousness, the entire way of being. I'm suggesting that it is cord, C-O-R-E-D. Is there such a word as cord? It is based on, and comes from violence. The entire consciousness that now runs, controls this planet, and has for thousands of years, is a consciousness of violence. So the answer is the same answer if you happen to be 20 or 25 or 30 years of age and you've gone through 3 or 4 or 5, 10, who knows how many girlfriends or boyfriends, and you've broken up or they broke up with you. The answer is that you are the constant in it. So it's your responsibility, not theirs, your own. Same thing with what I'm speaking here. It is each of our responsibility to realize we are the culprit. It is the manner in which we are living our lives that's causing the world wars, that's causing the strife, the looking down on, well, if you happen to be white, you look down on the brown and the gray and the yellow and the green. And wait, we don't have any green people, do we? I haven't seen any. At any rate, if there were green people around, we'd be looking down on those people too. But of course, we're not the only ones. The black people or the green people, wait a minute, the brown, they have their own manner in which to be superior, if you will. As a matter of fact, all of us have our own little superiorness because we all think we know everything. But the point, or the conversation, or the thing I'd like for us to take a look at is our entire consciousness is a failure. And here's the solution. We cannot think our way out of the thinking that caused the world wars, causes the females to be raped, causes the killings. I mean, we have here in America, our children could be sitting in school and 20 of them mowed down with an AK-47, and we approve more guns. So here is the problem. Knowledge, thought, and belief has put us where we are today. So no knowledge, no thought, and no belief can solve that we are raping women, that we are going to war, that in America we spend $750 billion I don't know, something like that, crazy amount, so we can kill people. There is no knowledge, because knowledge put us where we are now. There's no thought, because thought has put us where we are now. And for sure, the idiotic word called belief, anybody that believes anything is already blocking their intelligence. So here, if I may, I will insert the possibility. The possibility has to do with creation. We need to create a new way of being. You see? No thought can solve the problem of thought. Knowledge cannot solve the problem that knowledge manifested. Belief is just, that's the low-hanging fruit. That's the most ridiculous, crazy part of our whole world. And belief, God belief, is our largest belief. God belief, it guides almost our whole planet. And it's a belief. All belief blocks intelligence. The greatest deterrent to intelligence is knowledge. The manner in which we could remove ourselves from the brink of destruction, if you will, if we're there, is to create a new way of being. If we think of a new way of being, the thought itself comes from knowledge, which is the thing that put us where we are, so it will only deepen the problem. If you haven't seen it in our lifetime, then I don't know why they make these things so small, but I think somebody's... Oh, okay, yes, Therese. And it has to do, Therese says, has to create a new way of being for ourself. It has a twofold action. If we could go back millions of years, we would find out that one person lost their way, switched from creation, intelligence, and truth into knowledge, thought, and belief, and then it kept happening. More people joined and joined. So then, thousands of years ago, collectively we lost our way. We became repetitious, robotic people, ever repeating our past. So the possibility that I'm presenting here is, and Therese seems to agree, to create a new self, for you to create a new you. And here's the problem, here's the thing that we face. The people who are broke, the people who are destitute, the people who are at the bottom of the barrel, if you will, the bottom of they might be inclined to do so. The people who are successful, who have the money, who have the power, who have all of the things that move us, consider, well, What are you talking about? It's not a bad world. And they are the greatest reason for our failure. To be successful in an insane world, on an insane planet, only shows the level of insanity that you are. And therein lies, there's even a word for that, but I don't know what it is, the dichotomy or the problem that we face. We collectively have failed and we do not speak the truth of our failure. So, Therese, my supposition maybe is that my guess maybe you have. If you haven't, then the thing that's needed is to admit that you are 100% failure as a human being. I'm a failure 100% as a human being. I'm living on a planet. Here I am, living on a planet that goes from war to war, killing millions and millions of people. I'm living on a planet where the leader of the free world can be elected president when he tells us that he rapes women, grabs them by the whatever that thing is, and does whatever he wants to do. Well, he's gone now. But we're all responsible for that, all of us, 100% responsible for it. So I suppose the greatest difficulty here is for all of us to see that we each are 100% of failure. If we loved ourselves and if we loved our children, then we would create a planet, our world, for ourselves and our children. Instead, we prepare ourselves and our children for the world. We tell them don't talk to strangers. We say watch out you might hide under your desk of a bullet if somebody comes in with bullets and guns. Anyway, I'm rambling here. 41 years I've been doing this same thing and failing for 41 years, by the way. At any rate, it's 18 minutes and some odd seconds. They tell me that that's way too long for what they call that attention, people paying attention. So I'll shut up. If you care to create a new possibility, then this is the simplicity of it. This is how simple it is. Simply say, I create a new, insert your own name. And then watch what happens. Don't do anything. There's no thing to do because thought would then take over if you began thinking of something to do. Just create a new you and watch. Observe. See ya.